things about Michael right away. He was just not your typical person. He's just not. All right, I just want to remind everybody, I'm from a small town in Drake, Massachusetts. I married Michael, who his family, his mom and dad are the first generation here from Sweden. So, cousins, aunt, uncles, grandma everybody's in Sweden. So I married that Scandinavian kind of Viking entrepreneur, tackle life. Like that's Michael in a nutshell. That's so funny, we're laughing. And he's just a think out of the box guy. So we start working for this company, Tanya, and we're supposed to be bringing in sales and marketing, and I'm out in Lexington at a big club doing fine, and we're hanging out on the side, but he's making sales through things that people aren't even thinking of, through his own websites and stuff. Then he's getting in trouble when he comes walking in by people. Not by people, by, bosses or regional managers coming in and saying, what are you doing? You have to take this down. You can't do this. So he's like being penalized for thinking outside the box. So that was just kind of like a flag for him. So we said, all right, I don't want to really work here. So on the same time, he was working on his website on the side. That was another thing I noticed in New York City. He kept on talking about like orders and, things he had to check on. And I'm like, what are you checking? What's this guy checking on? I'm like, business? I'm like, who is this guy? He was running a website on the side, Criticalbench. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I sell workout programs, I've done it for a long time. I kind of just do it on the side to make some money, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So long story short. So we train, we go work all through Massachusetts, and, we were in separate quarters, but we kind of started dating. And he said right away, I'm not going to stay here. He had no tie downs in Massachusetts. He's like, I think I'm going to move somewhere, We kind of picked a state that had no state income tax and a place would be good to move a business. So we kind of just picked Florida. We honestly just ended up in Tampa for kind of randomly. There is no rhyme or reason. There really isn't anybody here. I have one cousin here that lives a little north from here. But other than that, we just moved here. Car, laptop, stuff.
Faith.
That's it. Faith.
Faith. Also, what really hit, what's resonating in me as you're talking about, again, you and Michael meeting and the kind of person he was, the kind of person you were, what you wanted to build. Like there's just this incredible sense of
it's him.
Team
he's
and
just an amazing
friendship
man.
and
I know.
friendship.
I'm just like, this is who I get to live with, my life with.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Like he's just.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So would you agree with the statement that, you both deserve credit because you both, I think there's such a strong, wonderful balance because you each have your strengths in what you're strong in, but and that's why yin and yang work, right? But how would you agree with the statement that in kind of all of this, like you're, building up a business and a career and all of that, but you were also creating like a family anchor in that doing this and pursuing this and forward thinking and looking ahead and making those decisions, it allowed for Michael, for both of you to have the success and keep building on that while at the same time having this anchor in the family home to keep the famay unit together.
Yeah, and it's just about balance too, and keeping it all balanced.
Yeah, and balance isn't always like this. It's like this.
He's the best one. He'll balance his business. He balances the kids. He balances me. He balances, his faith. He balances. Maybe I think he could hang out with his friends more, to be honest with you. He could balance more fun.
Did you hear that, Mike?
Yeah, he could use some more fun, non-business
That's public
related.
permission.
He's all business, but it's a good thing. I'm not definitely not.
And let's just clarify, because I think sometimes this can be, I'm not going to, this is no judgment on anybody else or the public as a whole, but it can be very easy because maybe for some people that know you, or even people that don't, that are maybe listening or maybe know about Criticalbench or know bits and pieces, it can be easy to step back and go, well, wow, they're just one of those people that it just happened for.
Happens every day.
None of this came easy, because it's kind of like when you let's say you decide you're going to build your dream home, and it takes 10 years to build it, and you've got all these wonderful parts and pieces coming, then all of a sudden everybody sees the finished product, but nobody saw when the contractors quit, or when the wrong tiles showed up, or when you had it up to lockup stage and then a fire broke out and it all burnt down, you had to start all over again. But nobody sees all the little life curveballs that get thrown to test your faith and belief and your strength and your how
we even have common favorite sayings that we get as the haters, like and one of them is we're not as lucky as you. It's like, wow, that's a pretty good one.
That's an easy justification to sit back and not do anything for the person saying it. But none of this came easy.
remind you, everybody, Michael and both of us, I should just start using we. I give him a lot of credit, though I always say Michael, but, you know, the fails that we've gone through and the stuff we've done just ourselves, like, and there's no luck in it. It's faith.
And it didn't happen
God
overnight.
giving you things and seeing what you're going to do with it. Here's some money. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Who needs this here? Are you tithing? He's just, you know, we have that mentality, that core value of that tithing of that 10% was built years ago.
Yes.
When we're, you know, 6 figures, whatever 10% that was. We're sustaining 7 figures, whatever 10% that is. It's always, doesn't matter what year it is, just, you know, like, what are you going to do with it? He's asking us, what are you going to do with this? So.
Yeah. So talk about that, because, again, that also comes into people going, oh, you're probably lucky. It happened for you. But
well, I think it started right from the get-go, where it's kind of set myself up really nice, because this was his thing he was doing when I met him. So when I went into our relationship, I didn't feel like I had any say whatsoever.
Right.
Whatsoever what he does, or what he spends, or what he's expensing, or what he's advertising, or what he's, you know, outsourcing. He wasn't doing that much at the time. A lot of it was he was just doing it himself, long hours. But I had no say. We'll fast forward, how many years from that? Maybe 10. Actually, 2000. I have my notes going to 2009 and 2010. We can stem right off of the whole debt situation, because all entrepreneurs know beginning, during, end, or whatever, there's always expenses.
Part and parcel.
There's always credit card bills. There's always lease bills. There's always, you know, it's all going, but it's worth it all. So let me take a sip of my water, too, before this. This was right after our daughter was born. And Michael was trying to take his business to the next level. Now he's just doing all this from home, kind of trying. He didn't really get out yet. He got, I don't even know who, I think Vince invited him. He got wind of Vince Del Monte's mastermind group up in, the first one I think was in Quebec City. Now, to join this mastermind group, for anybody who doesn't know what a mastermind group is, just a group of pretty much entrepreneurs who pay either a leader or someone who has, you know, been doing this for a long time to gain some knowledge, and they hire people to speak, or they meet together and they go through things are working, things aren't working. In the meantime, we have fun and we travel and we party together, and it's just a good time. Okay, so this is the first one we get invited to. It's $10,000 up front just to join this group. You think we have $10,000 up front? No way. Hey, you're right. We just moved into our house. We're fixing it up. We're just starting to have babies. I want to, you know, my kitchen's from the 70s. Like, we don't have $10,000 in cash. There's just no way. And you know what? Mike was just kind of like, I don't have it, but I was just like, who cares? Who cares? Like, you got to grow your business. What are you just going to sit around and try to think of ways? Like, I know I just have to, like, push him just the tiniest bit, because he's so motivated. He's so competitive. He's so, no, I'm just going to do this, and it's going to pray, and I'm going to be faithful, and it's just going to work out. I saw that in him so long ago, years ago. And I was like, all right, who cares? Just do it. We'll find the 10 grand somewhere. You know, credit cards. You know, we'll never ask, you know, borrow anything from anybody, but, you know, we'll figure it out ourselves, just the two of us, because we're just our own team. We don't really get any advice from, you know, what we should do from other people at this time. So this was like the door opener. This is when we met a lot of people. This is when we met a lot of our dear friends to this day. A lot of the wives. I love them. All of them. You all know who you are.
Yep.
Ton of traveling. So I start hanging around all these people, these other guy entrepreneurs, and I'm like, whoa, I'm seeing what they're doing. Like, these guys are not messing around. And then in my head, I'm like, that's kind of perfect for Michael, because I just married someone who doesn't mess around. So this is like the perfect combination here. And only I would say maybe half were, you know, Christians and have strong faiths. Not everybody was, which is okay. We're just kind of getting in and meeting people, and just, you know, I'm trying to be on my best behavior. So we go through all this. Michael it opened doors everywhere. And, you know, I don't even think we looked back and figured out even how to pay the $10,000. It wasn't even a second thought. Right. That's part of taking these risks. You just kind of keep moving forward. We were probably thinking of the next investment or the next thing that we were going to pay for him to learn or join or whatever. And that we hadn't even, it was only a few months later, and we weren't even thinking of that anymore.
You had momentum.
It's like you take these steps and these momentums, you don't even think back at all. Yeah. You can't dwell. And if you dwell, I'm like, oh my goodness, like he could have been up in Quebec City, and I could have been like on the phone to him saying, you know, oh, that's really good, babe. You're at the bar, but how are you going to pay back this $10,000?
Where's my kitchen?
You spend $10,000, now you're in a bar. What are you doing? Hanging out after their meeting, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is, if you're like that as a wife, you cannot be married to an entrepreneur. I'm sorry. I'm just going to lay that down. You just can't. It's very important. good, babe. Do some networking. Get home safe.
Yeah.
Hopefully you talk to some right people tonight and do some great networking.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the lines of all this, someone said to me once, and it was right around those years that he said, just, keep showing up and make him keep showing up. To this day, even when he doesn't feel like going, he doesn't feel like getting on an airplane, I push him out the doors.
Yeah.
Like it's that little
Show
thing behind
up.
me saying, just keep showing up.
Showing up.
So that kind of all just started blowing up, and that's when, a game-changing opportunity when we joined that group from Michael it started just opening.
And these have been a big part moving forward, these mastermind groups.
Massive.
Right, yeah. They're huge.
Yep. From where I grew up, I've learned a lesson, too. It takes 2 or 3 years to really get to know a person, too.
It does.
It really does. It doesn't just take, I have a new best friend, and 6 months later. Like, it takes a few years to get to that core, understanding.
Just because you both like tacos doesn't mean you're going to be BFFs.
Yeah, right? Or we could go to the good old, I have 2 quotes here, too, that under the whole, being judged category is we hear a lot is, you've changed, or I could never do what you do. And before that, it used to offend me hard. I had I had a hard time, by the way. This wasn't easy, going through all this and changing and being supportive.
Growing.
I hear, maybe you should just get a job so you have, medical benefits, or you should be doing this because you went to college and you have a degree, whatever. Like, I got a lot of feedback from him, unwanted feedback, because I wasn't seeking advice, but people telling me what I should be doing instead of just supporting my husband, because that wasn't enough. But a little on the did they know on the back end, we're creating this whole dynamic here. This isn't, we're not messing around in life. Michael's not a mess around in person. So I used to let that offend me, but now I'm like, probably not.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I have changed.
Do what I do.
Yeah.
And you probably couldn't do on a daily basis, the amount of times we're at the airport and the flights that we're constantly booking, and me sending Michael out to traveling. They don't see that. I'm not a very big social media person. I'm very private. They don't see, the hardness, Sometimes we chose not to send, especially when they're young, our kids off to, drop them off at 7 a.m, pick them up at 5, 6 o'clock. And I chose to be there. It's hard to be there.
It is.
It's a full
time. Well, it's like 2 full-time jobs being the mom.
Yeah, my son gets out at 11:45 every morning, so I only have a couple hours in the morning. I'm like,
and they go by quick, don't they?
11:45 comes early. It's very early. So I'm just saying, maybe you couldn't do what I could do, because the things that I also have to support my husband and the mass numbers that I see go across my face that I have to be okay with. Yeah. You probably couldn't take that. 10, 12 years ago, we didn't have, 15 years ago, I'm sorry, 14, let's go 14, because it was the year in Boston. I would say exactly 14 years ago, and we hear people say it all the time, but they don't know who they're around, we did not have a steady paycheck. There was no steady paycheck.
The security wasn't there.
The security was not there. The benefits weren't there. The 401k, the thing that the people supposedly strive for when you get out of college, and that's what you're supposed to step right into, there was none of that.
You couldn't afford to become complacent.
You probably couldn't do what I did then. That's how I look at it now.
Yeah.
Because I was okay with it. And it's okay, babe. Go do what you're going to do. Go spread your wings, and you figure this out and have your faith. We'll tithe when we get back, whatever we can, and we'll see what God has in store for us. And that was the storm that was brewing to all this. So that's kind of good attitude now. Instead of taking offense, I'm like, you're right. I have changed
and
now. I'm
thank you for the compliment.
And you know what? And I do it because we created it ourselves. We got to move 1,500 miles away and created this ourselves. Bottom line, there was nothing.
Yeah.
My in-laws moved here a few years later after, when they started retiring, and it's great to have them around, but it was Michael and I, period. And the dog. We got a dog. That's it.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. The point of this is just to really magnify the qualities it takes to be just a supportive spouse of an entrepreneur. That's the point of me doing all this. Because I would love to have someone told me this a lot of 10 years. Well, I like learning all this stuff, but I think one of the key things too is that I'm never trying to change Michael. Yeah. He's never trying to work on something. Yeah, he's trying to work on strengthening his faith and trying to maybe be a better parent, but I'm not genuinely ever trying to change him. Yes. Yeah. That can be like a negative spiral down. I think that's really, really important. That's why I just kind of let him be who he is, and kind of just accept his qualities, without trying to change that. I think that's really, and that just builds respect.
That I would say that's respect.
You know what?
That's respect.
Let's go that with maybe numero uno to all of this. I can't believe I've left that out. The amount of respect that I have for him, that's it was right from the beginning, and it's just everything, from the business ideas he has, to the dad he is, to the husband he is, to the friend he is to his friends. He's just well balanced, and he works at it. he doesn't just,
he's not complacent
Michael's
at all.
just not a person who was born this way. He works at things. He's the type of person that will read a book just to kind of tweak this in his life, or he's constantly trying to want to go to like a Bible study, or he's just going to see a speaker on one particular subject because he needs the strength there. He's following Tony Robbins and, you know, Pastor Tony Evans, and just he's like very motivated, and he's always wanting to learn, so he's always growing. Which causes me just to respect him, because I'm like, wow, this is just an amazing man. Like, wow. Like, people see from the outside, but I see from the inside. And I'm never tearing him down, ever. And it's never even like a joke, being like, oh, you know. It's just a lot of positive in our house about not worrying and just being risk takers. And we just put God first, because we know, you know, God's happy before greed. So anybody who's greedy too, you got to put God first. Because he doesn't like the greedy at all.
No.
So that's why you got to do it first before you take your trips or